I've always loved strong female protagonists. Something about them lights a fire in me. The idea of women who are brave, uncompromising, complex, and capable. But for most of my life, I've also been frustrated because so many of the strong female leads I grew up watching never truly felt strong. They looked the part, but beneath the surface there was always something missing. In movies, anime, and cartoons, there have been countless attempts. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Supergirl, Charlie's Angels, Totally Spies, Catwoman. These characters were meant to inspire. They fought, they were witty, they had power. And yet, in the end, their arcs often circled back to the same predictable patterns. They'd fall in love and sacrifice themselves. Or they'd be powerful only until a man came along to either save them or guide them. Or they'd be written as caricatures of angry feminism, where hating men was their only defining feature. Even when they got close, I was still left unsatisfied. The Powerpuff Girls, for instance, were some of the closest things to real strong female leads I saw as a kid. They weren't written to impress anyone. They were children who happened to be superheroes, and their adventures balanced innocence with incredible power. Lisbeth Salander from The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo was another. She was raw, wounded, brilliant, a survivor who refused to let the world define her. And even Huntrix from K-pop Demon Hunters, though part of a kid's movie, stood out for having depth and personality beyond the shallow archetypes that so many female characters are stuck in. But again and again it felt like female protagonists had to be framed around men. 1. The woman in love with a man. 2. The woman supporting a man's mission. 3. The woman rebelling against men. 4. The woman guided or validated by a man. 5. Or the woman waiting to be saved by one. In this endless sea of male-centered storytelling, one heroine rose above all the rest. Princess Mononoke. San is called a princess, but she's nothing like the princesses of Western fairy tales. She doesn't live in a tower, she doesn't wear silken gowns, and she isn't waiting for anyone to rescue her. She wears fur and bone. She carries a spear, not a crown. Her companions are wolves, gods of the forest who raised her as their own. Her throne is the wilderness itself, and her kingdom is the lush, dangerous, mystical forest she swears to protect. One of the first times we see her, she's crouched over her wounded wolf brother, cleaning his injury with her mouth. Her face is smeared with blood, and she doesn't care. She isn't worried about appearances. She isn't worried about looking savage. She's focused entirely on saving him. That moment defined her for me. She wasn't a symbol. She wasn't an archetype. She wasn't a female lead crafted to be perfect. She was raw, feral, alive. San isn't flawless. She is mistrustful, vengeful, and sometimes reckless. She's not the kind of heroine who smiles at every stranger or forgives easily. She is scarred by her experiences, shaped by her loyalty to the wolves and her hatred of humans who are destroying her forest. But it's exactly these flaws that make her strong. They give her humanity. She doesn't need to be perfect to be powerful. This is what makes Hayao Miyazaki so extraordinary as a storyteller. He doesn't write strong female characters as checkboxes to satisfy trends. He writes people. In film after film, his heroines are richly layered, Nausicaä, compassionate yet unyielding, fighting for peace in a poisoned world. Kiki, a young witch navigating independence, loneliness, and self-doubt. Chihiro, timid and scared, who grows into bravery through small acts of courage. Sophie, cursed with old age, who learns to value herself and embrace her power. Miyazaki's women are not written to be symbols of femininity or rebellion. They aren't the girl version of a male hero. They are simply themselves, with strengths, flaws, fears, and dreams. They are central to their stories not because they are women, but because they are human beings whose journeys matter. San is perhaps his fiercest creation. She is not a gentle peacemaker like Nausicaä, nor a dreamer like Kiki. She is wild, feral, and ready to kill to protect what she loves. And yet, even at her most violent, she is never reduced to a stereotype of angry woman. Her rage has meaning. Her fight is not for herself alone, but for her forest, her wolves, and the gods she serves. One of the most remarkable aspects of Princess Mononoke is San's relationship with Ashitaka. From the beginning, it is clear they respect and admire each other, but neither is defined by the other. Ashitaka doesn't save San, not in the way so many male heroes save their heroines. He doesn't tame her or turn her into something she isn't. Instead, he sees her clearly, respects her, and believes in her even when she can't believe in herself. San doesn't exist to complete Ashitaka's story, and he doesn't exist to complete hers. They stand side by side as equals, walking their own paths. Yes, they grow close. Yes, there are moments when love blooms between them. But it isn't the kind of love that demands sacrifice of self. It isn't the kind of love that ends with a marriage or a happily ever after. At the end of the film, they go separate ways. San remains with her forest. Ashitaka chooses to live among the humans, but their bond endures. It's love built on respect, not dependency. That kind of ending is almost unheard of in mainstream media, and it's part of why San remains such a powerful character. When I look at San, I see what we are missing in so many stories today. We need more heroines who are not defined by men, by romance, or by tired archetypes. We need female characters who are flawed, real, and fully alive. Women who can be fierce without being cruel, vulnerable without being weak, loving without losing themselves. Stories shape the way we see the world, and role models matter. For decades, girls have been told they can be princesses, but only if they are beautiful, pure, and patient enough to be chosen by a prince. Even the updated princesses often end up proving their worth in relation to men, fighting for them, rebelling against them, or falling in love with them. San breaks that cycle. She doesn't exist to please or oppose anyone. She exists to be herself, and that is what makes her not just a strong female lead, but a role model. She shows us that strength comes from conviction, from loyalty, from living authentically. She shows us that women can be wild, bloody, imperfect, and still be heroines. In conclusion, Princess Mononoke is more than a story about forests, gods, and war. It is a lesson in how to write characters who feel real. San is proof that a female protagonist doesn't need to be flawless or ornamental to inspire. She can be angry, scarred, and difficult, and still shine brighter than any perfect, polished archetype. For me, San will always stand as one of the greatest examples of a heroine done right. She isn't written to fulfill expectations. She isn't written to be saved. She isn't written to be loved. She is written to be herself, fierce, flawed, loyal, and alive. And in a world where so many strong female leads still feel hollow, San rides out of the forest on the back of a wolf to remind us of what true strength looks like.